Hello everyone, my name is K-Hug, you can call me Kyler, and welcome back to the Hardcore Minecraft Journey. Grab your pickaxe, sharpen your sword, say hello to Lilo. Yes, good morning Lilo. Now let's get right into today's video. Hopping into a quick little time lapse here, we are starting the foundation as we mentioned in the last episode for our new villager trading market area. Now this area we're not going to use for game breaking trades like infinite diamonds and infinite emeralds, but we're going to use this for some of the trades that are harder to come by. Working our way up from the foundation, we brought in the same aesthetic we did on the water mill down below along the river over here, and that is a transition from the stone into the andesite using some of the corals to help set this foundation. Moving up, we did use the same aesthetic on the new fishing hut we did in the last episode, and that is using both of the birch and the oak to make this nice gradient from one wood to another. I think this aesthetic looks really nice, and what brings it together even more is these pillars, bringing in the original spruce from all of our buildings for the structural supports of this one as well. And then lastly, working up into the roof itself, we use the same dark oak for all of our trims to help really bring out and accent the light textures of the roof themselves. And then once again, the same granite, brick, and terracotta gradient with a little addition. Since this roof was big enough for it, we went ahead and did one more layer to this transition and brought in some of this copper, which unfortunately looks great now, but we did just get done building it, and this is going to end up probably oxidizing before we can get to bees, so maybe bees should be on our radar here sometime soon. One addition to this roof gradient, unlike the others, is the addition of this light gray terracotta. I just happened to see this when I placed a granite block next to a terracotta hill in the back, and noticed that the granites actually, with the gray speckles in them, really help transition from the light gray terracotta versus the orange terracotta or the regular terracotta that we used before. I think the original terracotta we used really helps to transition from the brick to the copper, but using this one in the lower bits really makes a nice gradient feature, if I do say so myself. Now this building is, I would say, 75% complete. We have a full interior to be completely designed from start to finish, and what I want to do is go with a more open market theme. In here we will have open stalls, roaming villagers, and some little pop-up stands here and there where we can buy miscellaneous items, whether it be a fishing pole, maybe some string every now and again, some wool if we need it, and of course those pesky mending books. I also have a little area out the back that we can use for bringing over some outdoor decorations. I'm thinking a couple little pins for some sheep or other livestock, so when we get a farmer over here, maybe he's got a place to hang out and mingle and do his job. Now, obviously mob-proofing, that's going to be a little difficult because they could just walk along the rooftop and fall in, so we'll have to figure out how we're going to mitigate any issues from occurring. But I think this building, in all, from this perspective, looks absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see this fully designed with all the details and the pathwork that we're going to need to get done in today's episode in order for us to access it easily. And then finally bringing in the two villagers, getting a little villager breeder set up so we can breed these guys up and help fill out our little villager trading hall. Now that I've introduced that new building, I want to quickly run over and check out the new pathwork I've done. We brought in the same hillside terraforming structures here, or our retaining wall features, if you will, and brought this pathwork down most of the way down here because I think what we're going to do is we have a little space, a nice flat space here actually for another structure. Now I don't know what that's going to be quite yet, so I'm just going to leave it as an open plot of land for now. We may even add a couple of extra torches. It's looking a little dangerous down here. Let me pop a few of these guys in here. Okay, now with that set up, I also just wanted to point out one last little thing that I'm pretty proud of, and one thing I've been trying to focus on more in this series, and that is color theory. Now I say color theory, I more or less mean texture theory, but those things kind of go hand in hand. What I've got here is a nice gradient. Now it may seem menial, it may seem not as important as you may think, but to me I think this really brings the aesthetic of our area together quite nicely. So in order to transition from grass to sand, it looks, it's pretty crazy. This is what it originally looks like. You have grass and then sand. But what I wanted to do was try to bring in some ideas or concepts that would help make this land transition more naturally. And so the grass transitions into coarse dirt, then into the orange terracotta before turning into the orange sand. I really think this gradient plays together quite nicely. I'm going to try to focus, or my main focus in this series was to really focus on the details, down to the nitty gritty. I mean, something as simple as just putting a few more blocks between these two, between the sand and the grass, really helps build that character. And I'm really happy with the way that came out. Lilo, you're welcome. So with all those updates out of the way, I think it's officially time for us to get started with all the projects that we need to get done to wrap up the 500th day of the hardcore series. Before we get started, I need one more item, and that is a quick ink sac. Perfect. 3 will do it. Let's head back up here, and I've got something for us to build, for us to get started in today's episode. A book and quill. Now, if you haven't been here or you haven't checked out the Let's Play series, please go do that. We have now crested 80 episodes and we are nearing our 100th episode finale. But what I want to use this for is just jotting down some notes for us to be kind of build reminders or things that we need to get done before wrapping up the 500th day. Our to-do list is going to be the following. We need to finish the villager trading hall, work on the tree farm, which means we need to obtain a skeleton farm or some sort of a bone meal farm in order to make the tree farm feasible. And last but not least, the industry tower / farm. And by farm, we are going to, I've decided, put a bamboo farm in the upper level of the tower in order to do a full automatic super smelter. So for starters today, I want to start off by finishing at least the roof of this tower. We're going to do this because I want to get the bamboo farm installed just above that ridge line there, so that when we bring the smelters in here and all the resources that we mine come up through this tunnel here, we'll be able to super smelt everything down. We might just have a line of smelters across this back wall, which will be perfect. I think it'll be just the right amount. So we need to get enough bamboo to be able to furnace all of these resources. Now, I did get a bunch of redstone contraptions a few episodes ago, and so we have a list of things, or a long list of things, including comparators, observers, redstone, and so on and so forth. Now, the one thing that we need to do is go collect the pallet that we're going to need for this rooftop and get started. I think with today's building, we're going to go with a little different palette of blocks. What I want to try to use is we're going to use a combination of the deep slates by bringing in each of the 4 types of these, including the bricks, the tiles, and the smooth blocks. And we'll combine those with some of the smooth basalts and the different tufts. Now, I'm excited for the new release of Minecraft when we go and get ourselves the different tough textures as well. Let's go ahead. I think, do we have a chest in our inventory? We do not. Let's real quickly take a chest over to the site. We'll come back for that in a minute, and let's just get all the blocks that we're going to need kind of laid out over here. I think with our full box of goodies here, this should be everything we need for the roof, for the accents, and for the rest of the build. It is time for us to hop into a little time lapse and get started finishing up our industrial tower. And that is one side of the roof completely done, minus the stairs and some of the slabs to help round off some of these really sharp edges. But I'm gonna go ahead and replicate what we've done on this side onto the other. All right, now that the general outline of the roof itself is relatively complete, what I want to do is I want to go back in with some of the slabs and stairs that we made and add another layer of texture that is just taking what we have here and adding a perimeter or adding some elevation. So what I want to do here is as simple as we got to get some of our blocks selected here. Is every once in a while when you see a slab or a transition is popping in a couple of these guys, and maybe every once in a while a step wouldn't hurt. So I'm going to go back through and add in a few of these details, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next section. Okay, and with the main bulk of the roof kind of finished here, the last thing we need to do is add in our trim details. So typically I would do this and then go over and under, but maybe we're gonna have to think of something a little different here. We might have to go, yeah, with that being out there like that, I'm wondering if slabs is not too much. Let's do a couple rows and give it a glance, but I think what I wanna do is just kind of follow the edge of this deep slate and everything else. Why does that look? Oh yes, we went too far. We've got to go up to over one and then continue this ladder all the way up. Or something roughly like that. Now we just have to do this all the way around, and then one last little feature that I'm going to add because I like adding depth to some of these builds is every once in a while you just pop in a trap door instead of a slab, and that really kind of brings in the 3D aesthetic of an overhang. I did this on the Villager Trading Hall and I really liked the aesthetic that it brought in, so I'm going to continue to use this same concept on these guys as well. Come around the edge with some full blocks, and then we'll continue the same stair step pattern on the other two sides, and then continue the front, and then we should be done with the roof and we can move on to the bamboo farm. Final slab goes right in there, and that should be the perimeter trim of the roof complete. So now if we give this thing a good bird's eye view, this is the finished product or semi-finished product. We've got some work to do in the eaves here or the big peak roof design here. But there is one thing that I did forget, and that is that there is going to be a peak that comes out over this little bridged canopy area here. We're gonna have to go back and cut part of the roof out later, but for now we're gonna leave it as is, and I'm pretty happy with the way this is turned out to be. I think the next thing we can do is dump off all of our resources into our extra box here. We shouldn't need any more of the dark oak planks or any of the bits in general, but we can go ahead and take everything that we've got or that we don't need, take it on back to the base. We can probably put all the blackstone away and probably the tough and stuff as well. We don't have any inventory space, but let's go ahead and I think it's time for us to grab all the pieces that we need to make an automatic bamboo farm, which we're gonna have to figure out along the way because it's been a long time since I've made one of these. Now, a bamboo farm. So the one thing I do know that I do not have is slime. And I can't make a flying machine without slime. We're gonna have to go with an old school style bamboo farm, which is gonna require a ton of observers and a whole lot of redstone pieces, including pistons, hoppers, comparators, all those kind of things. So let's go ahead and gather a few of these resources up. Thankfully, we have plenty of iron from our iron farm downstairs. So we've got that part checked off, but we have to get everything else acquired. Oh, it's dark out. Let me go up here and take a quick sleep, and then we can head on over there and maybe lay out how many furnaces we're gonna need, which will then tell us how much bamboo. In my opinion, I think I would just use one of these walls. I don't think we need to have two walls full of... Is that necessary? Do I need two walls of furnaces? Is it... I don't think I smelt that much stuff, so I'm thinking... Now, this is centered on the iron farm down below, so our access points will be like up and down respectively, which means this whole area kind of within these 3 by blocks is kind of prohibitive of us moving around. So I'm thinking a wall of furnaces here will be enough, which I've definitely overestimated the amount because I can only fit 7 on this wall. But the only other thing we need to consider is anything we bring down. Now, okay, we have to deliver both the bamboo, the fuel source, and deliver the items themselves, which is going to require 2 access points on our furnace wall, which means the furnaces will probably have to be here and not behind. Let's go ahead and just get rid of this row real quick. And now, if I'm not mistaken, since furnaces were with the fuel in the bottom, our fuel source needs to come in right through the back here, which actually works out quite well because, ooh, I see a problem here. I'm gonna have to go with 6, and that'll make sense here in a moment. But let's go ahead and get the hoppers and stuff set up for this, and a little bit of the rail cart system set up in order to deliver the bamboo. Oh no, this is the worst situation ever. I just finished doing the redstone layout and we've got company. I'm not sure what I'm going to do to get him out of here before he blows things up, but I do want to test this rail. So let's just pretend he's not here for just one moment, and let's head upstairs and show you what I've got. Now, this is really rough redstoning, if I do say so myself. So don't be judging my redstone abilities. But what I have here is the rail should come up. Now, I'm really curious on how this little interaction is going to work, and it was quite a beast to try to figure out how to get this rail to snap to this rail and this one to turn at the same time. But I'm hoping that if I were to send, say this is going down, it should go down, deplete all of its resources, come back up. I'm hoping it makes this entire zigzag and then drops back off of this little edge and goes that direction. Nope, let's give it a minute. Go for it to travel the full length, and excellent. Now it should return. Let's do one last test. Testing, testing, testing. Perfect. I don't know if I want to listen to this, so... Oh no. Okay. Go ahead and just pick it up for the time being. But that thing did work. Oh, it did work, which is excellent and really kind of unbelievable. But now we have to get out of here, go get resources to build the rest of this farm. And now where did our little buddy go? If he blows any of this up, I'm going to lose my marbles. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Leave me and my lovely industrial tower alone. Phew. Crisis averted. Okay, I'm a little short on pistons on this last row here, so we'll come back and finish that later, but let's get these 2 at least finished, and we are ready now with these 2 fully functional. Go ahead and head back on through and plant all of this lovely bamboo. Now, the only other thing I do know is bamboo needs a significant light source to grow. So my thought was, I think we're gonna get stuck in here. Maybe just beneath these guys, we just poke out a block or 2. We'll go ahead and add not that one, a light source down in here just to give it a little extra light for it to grow. I'm not sure if torches count, but I know it needs sunlight, and so that should help solve that problem. Now, the next problem is we got to get back out of here. Just like that. Now, this farm should be fully functional. We can repeat the same thing over here. We're just going to be void of having any of those pistons done, but we can go ahead and get this set up, ready to go. And now, the last thing we can do is we need to continue these pillars all the way up, just in case the bamboo outgrows its little box down here. And look, it's already growing. Let me go get the rest of those pistons, a little more smooth stone, and we can go ahead and finish this thing up. Okay, now it might be a little loud in here. Don't mind the minecart, but as you can see, the minecart just went by and delivered all of the bamboo to our automatic smelter, and it's not the most efficient thing. I will say. It's not the most efficient thing at all. Actually, I'm wondering now, does it not deliver enough bamboo to smelt anything down? Actually, that's... Oh. This is an interesting problem. The bamboo doesn't smelt fast enough, and it actually reverts the smelt back to 0, which is gonna cause massive amounts of problems. Why does that seem like it worked for a few blocks? But that seems like that's about it. So maybe I might have misjudged. Let's test 20. What if I put 20 blocks in here? It takes 4 whole bamboo to actually go ahead and process 1 whole block. So until this thing... Oh, it has to make way more bamboo. Actually, I might have completely overestimated this thing altogether. I don't even know if this is going to work now, which is really unfortunate since I've already built it. Well, a quick little tour, I guess, in the meantime. You come on up here, you gotta watch out for the holes. I've got a couple boxes up here of extra, well, had some extra, I think it's all, yeah, shifted into here, of extra resources into these hoppers, and this guy just winds its way, oh, I just blocked it, winds its way up and down, and we should be able to get access through here into this little area where the bamboo is constantly being produced. Now, we can't get up on top of there. I need to get some more ladders. But unfortunately, it looks like maybe I made a bit of a mistake since it doesn't make enough bamboo to be able to actually process anything, which is weird. Well, there's 11 now, so it's processing what's in this furnace, so it's gonna have to go 1 furnace at a time. If it drops off more than 1 piece, it should technically work, but it's only dropped 1 at a time. That might have smelted because we put the 20 blocks in there, I guess. Okay, well, we've got to do some modifications to this. Maybe I go ahead and lock these hoppers so they can't accept anything. So let's go grab a bunch of levers real quick, lock all these, and see if we can get it to at least work on the deposit at the end. I also thought I could put a lock on these, and looks like I can't. Man, I am doing a bunch of failing right now for you guys. Well, I think we're going to assess that later. There's obviously some issues that we need to resolve, but I think for now, let's call that project about 80% complete because we have a whole overhang to do on this part, and then finish the little gabled in bits right up in there. And I've got some ideas of what to do with that, but I don't want to spend the entire episode, our final few days together, just working on a silly super smelter. I'm thinking our next adventure is going to be, first off, updating this map to see how the nice new rooftop looks. Absolutely fantastic. That nice little gray texture in here is just, it kind of helps break everything apart. Now, we did use some of the deep slate around the perimeter of this house that we're in, so that helps kind of tie these two buildings together quite nicely. But yeah, I guess for now, let's go ahead and work on the next project, which is going to be finding a skeleton spawner and creating a skeleton farm for bone meal for the tree farm. Now, there's a lot of layers involved with this, and it's almost nighttime, but I did in fact find a skeleton spawner a few episodes ago, or between episodes, on my own accord while I was mining, and I think it's in that early direction, and it's quite a ways away. I'm gonna grab some torches real quick, and then we can head in the direction of that mine, and I've got some ideas of how we're going to tackle this. So let's go ahead, just bring a stack of cobblestone real quick, and maybe we'll even bring, let's bring the good old shield back out. So we head on out our main entrance, back down over the pathway, and towards this little cavern deal right here. The skeleton farm, or the spawner, is actually just beneath this little area. Now, there's no way back here, and I think a cool idea here would be to create a kind of a bridge work attached to this wall. Maybe one side's got some chains hanging from the ceiling, so we can access this back area back here. But I lit up this cave. If you can't remember, I almost died in here multiple times. But I've got it lit up because I believe right in that corner and all the way down in the bottom, there is a skeleton spawner quite near bedrock, or not bedrock, but deep slate. So what I would like to do is kind of get over in the direction and then dig straight down, which now I'm realizing we probably should have brought some ladders. All right, now I've got some ladders, and I think if I remember right, this, oh hey look, some more coal. This block right here that I had set up is actually where the entrance to that thing is, or just a little bit off of the entrance to the skeleton farm. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna head down, and hopefully a stack of ladders is good, and hopefully there's also no lava. This is a big rule breaker. This is a no-no. Do not dig straight down in Minecraft, especially on your hardcore series, but I'm going to roll the dice and hope that we can get down where we need to go. We should be coming up on the bottom any minute now. Oh, and there we go. Oh, I totally forgot this is also on top of a geode. Oh boy. So we've got a little bit of an issue. We got to make sure there's none of those. None of those guys. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Is there any shriekers? Oh my goodness. Alright, I think we're okay. As long as we don't go back up there. It's lit up enough, I think. But let's head back down, because I think... Where'd I come through? There it is. I think if we continue down just a few more blocks... slowly... somewhere on the edge of this crystal, there was a walkway that I was able to get right down against the spawn room. If I keep going down, I think I'm too far down now. Ah, here we go. So right here is the pathway that leads... Oh, well, there it is. And thankfully, I've already lit it up. Well, look at me go. This right here was the pathwork that I came down originally. You follow this up and through some tunnels and over and down and around all this crap. You eventually end up down here, which was pretty exciting because I found this geode, was digging around the geode, and then I happened to stumble upon this, which was quite chaotic when I was in here by myself without any materials, but it looks like we don't even need to have the shield on, so let's get rid of that real quick. It looks like we're ready to go ahead and make this into a fully functional skeleton farm, and I'm hoping, based on how spawns work, that I can reduce the amount of ladders by shipping them up via bubble elevator. Not sure how that's quite going to work, but we'll find out soon. I think the one thing we need to get started first is removing this wall, boxing the whole thing in, and then we'll go get the water sources. Oh, I've actually got 2 water buckets. Actually, we've got everything we need except for a trip to the Nether for some soul sand. All right, well, this is the last place that we need to be going, but into the Nether we go to get some soul sand and some magma to help finish up our farms and some other elevators. Wish us luck. So, not good news. The first thing I heard was a Goss the minute we got in here. Now, I don't see one. He sounds like he's that direction, so we're going to make our way the opposite direction. Do we have anybody here who dislikes us? I don't see any bad hombres. Let's head on down. We're going to have to get down near a lava lake in order to get some magma, so we're going to have to keep traversing lower and lower. What on earth are you doing here, sir? You have gravely mistaken your surroundings. You should probably not be here. Let's see how long this chicken will last. We'll leave him here. I should name tag you just to see how long. Don't. That's hot. That there's hot. Yep. Okay. Well, we'll see you around. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's not the direction we're going. Is there a way down? Oh. Oh. Magma. Okay. I'm liking that. I'm not liking that. How are we gonna? We're gonna have to go over there and kind of dig our way down very carefully. Why is there so much fire? Okay. We also gotta make sure we don't get lost. I'm pretty prone to getting lost. Now, I also see that magma cube over there. That's also not good. Maybe we can avoid that. We go down here and let's go ahead. Let's do it the scary way. Let's dig ourselves our own staircase. Just as I suspected. This is why you gotta be careful. That could have been the end of a series if I would have fallen into that. Let's a little bit at a time here. This source lock, oh my goodness, the source lava here, oh, is eerily close. I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. Maybe we block that off. Okay, now I feel I feel much better. If we just create like a little barrier wall here where I can't fall into the pits of lava, yeah, we can go ahead and maybe clear this out as well. Okay, we're nearly down. Let's make sure we have an escape route, because if anything goes wrong, I want to be able to get out of here real fast. And yeah, that's kind of what I thought. When we do the digging, we dig so fast that we created an issue. Okay, that is all clear. It is time. It's time to roll the dice and find ourselves some soul sand and magma. Now I see magma. Where do you find soul sand? Is it on all lakes? I don't see any that direction. Let's go see. I saw there's a... This is such a bad idea. Leaving this here is such a bad idea. Okay. Oh, okay, we're down. That's where we were before. So we're getting close. Oh. Nope, I thought that was soul sand. I see magma. We just gotta get down there, I guess. Oh boy. And it's not gonna be as easy as I thought it was gonna be. Let's create like a little makeshift staircase here. Double wide preferred. I need you to... Yeah, thank you. Sir, leave me alone. Alright. We're getting closer. I don't see any soul sand anywhere. But I do see plenty of pits for us to fall into lava. Okay, well, we made it down to a level where we can get some of this stuff. And I think this will be really useful. I think you can crouch on this to not take damage. Excellent. I think, let's not dig any more out than that. I think if we dig too much of this out, we'll break open on the lava lake. I think we've got to get a little lower. Maybe not. We're at the bottom. We're at lava level. Where does soul sand... Without getting into a soul sand valley, is it possible to find soul sand anywhere else? I'm thinking the next place we check is kind of over here in the basalt region, which is going to warrant another issue. We now have the possibility of spawning magma slimes, and we also don't want to get lost, so home is that way. Whether or not we remember is a whole nother question, but I was thinking if we can find a way down near the edge of the basalt biome, maybe there... Oh, there's a warped crimson and a warped biome right here together. Maybe there'll be something here in the transition. I've seen it kind of on the edges of lava lakes, like that, right there. I see it, right there. Okay, so that's where we need to get. We are way up here in Mrs. Goss territory, if I do say so myself. Is there... We're on like a cliffside. I think I see a way down. Watch out for the fire. We just need to head over here and then slowly lower ourselves down on this cliff, which is, yeah, definitely just a cliff. Okay. So far, so good. Never count your chickens before they hatch, but I think this is looking promising. Wow, look how big and open this... Like, if a Goss is going to spawn in an open area, this is the open area. I think if we dig a few of these blocks out, we will find that there is a row of soul sand right along the edge of lava here. Now, I really, really, really don't like this. So let's just get a few. I don't think we'll need a lot. I think actually we have enough probably. But I'm also greedy, so I'm gonna grab a couple more. I think a good dozen will be plenty. One more. Okay, I'm calling it. I'm scared. I'm scared. Time for me to rush home safely. Oh gosh, why did I jump like that? Okay, we are out of there. We are ready to go. Let's make our way up this steep slope. Check for Goss. And I think we need to go... Oh, I forgot about you boys. How's it going? I think we need to go that way. Alright, well, I think that's enough Nether for me for a lifetime, or at least in these first 500 days. So we now have the bubble elevators and the magma blocks, and we can go ahead and get ready to set up a new skeleton farm that is going to... It's going to just use the magma blocks as the killing block, which means we're going to need some hopper minecarts. But let me go get all that stuff ready to go. We'll head down there. We'll torch it up. We'll revamp the area. And then we should be able to AFK the skeleton farm. Okay, so we got some decorating to do in this area, but this is where the new bubble elevator... Okay, the bubbles are going down. Sweet. The bubble elevators come up at. I had it here originally. I had to fill this hole back in because we ran into an issue where it was too close to the spawner or the decorations that I put down below. And that'll all make sense here momentarily. Let's head on down. We should be coming up on the geode. Here we go. We can make a quick pit stop by popping out over here. We can then AFK inside the geode itself, but you can already get a glimpse of what we created. This here is my best rendition at making a skull kind of in the wall. Now it's okay. The skull structure itself is actually pretty good. But we may need to broaden out this room. But if I head on down here, oh, we forgot a piece of diorite. That's fine. If I head on down here, you will already begin to hear the chaos that is ensuing. Oh my goodness. But everything seems to be functioning quite well. I mean, we have, in the short amount of time I've been standing here, you can actually see it also flowing in while we talk. It seems to be gathering quite a few resources. Now, the whole reason for all of this is the AFK tree farm. So what I think I want to do real quick is, my goodness, get the heck out of here. We can also use this elevator to make a quick pit stop, come up here. Again, I think this is a great place to sit AFK because every once in a while, we can walk around and gather ourselves some more shards. But let's head on up. Ooh, actually this one real quick. Let's harvest around that. That'll get all 3 sides of that one. We might even be able to uncover, oh, and another one. We just kind of keep digging around here. We'll find a bunch of new shards, spawn spores as we go. But let's head on up. Let's check out the tree farm. Wow, this thing is, we got a good viewing platform here. I left a hole here, but now I can see that I didn't put a spot where I could stand. If I destroy anything here, the bubble elevators all of a sudden lock together, so this brick needs to be solid in the center. But I did leave a hole, so you can see right there. So we can see, yep, them falling down into the pit, and then they will slip. Oh no. If you have a skilled archer, they can apparently shoot through that gap right there. That is good to know. Oh, also, ow, we did obtain 12 diamonds. I found a few diamond ore in this process, so look at us go. You don't know how great it is to finally see the sunshine. We've been down there for so long. It took a couple hours to actually fully get that farm to work and design it and kind of decorate it and everything. So thankfully, we're out here to get some vitamin D and then back down into the industrial mine we go. Now, the only thing we do need to do is, I don't think, well, first off, for 1 stack of bones, okay, we get 3 stacks of bone meal. That's really good information to have. But the only other thing I don't have any wisdom on is, well, I don't think the tree farm quite officially works. Don't mind me as I walk in circles and put things away. The tree farm, well, it needs some sort of redstone clock in order to activate the TNT dropper without breaking it. So it needs to be quite the long duration. I do have a few of each one of these guys. And we need to go probably test a couple different clocks real quick just to see if we can get one long enough that the system doesn't blow itself up. A quick lever to activate it, and I think this is everything we should need. And oh boy, we got a bubble elevator, these things. I really don't, this one actually scares me. This is why we made the full bubble elevator, because dropping into this hole, if there's no water, which it seems that there is, we will definitely end the series, but let's go. Awesome. And one more check real quick. We always, wow, look at all the iron in these guys. Okay, I don't know why this one's not producing any iron. Maybe it has something to do with the way the water flows in here. It looks like it all, I think the water source blocks in this corner, so they flow that direction, but that's okay. We guess we got that one we can use for overflow. But this is what we need to do now is, I totally forgot this thing blows itself up. Everything should be functioning. We can get the TNT thing to work, but we need to know how often we can put TNT. So I think the best thing we can do, we may need more resources than this, but if we had a lever that activated a block, and when it activated that block, it turned on something. So say it's off. I guess that technically be on. Hold on. Do we do that? Put the block first. We even need that block. Actually, wait a minute. Can I just pull a Okay, it pulls from there. And now it's off. But we need this to be a clock. And if I know anything about clocks, what you need to do is you need to have a repeater. We just need to make a grid for the most part. And now I'm realizing that maybe I don't have enough. We need that one back. So if I make a quick box and then we do go ahead and power it. Power it. Power it. Okay, well, I'm already failing. Quickly toggle it. Now that is way too fast, but if I slow all these down and unpower them all, are they all stuck on now? Oh my goodness. I promise I know how to redstone. I've got this all figured out. Okay, so I don't know how it works because it needs to be toggleable. Interesting. Okay, now this obviously didn't work either, so let's go ahead and take this down and start kind of from scratch again. Now I wonder if we go ahead and put a few guys in this early direction. This will be where the trap door is at, so this is what we need to, that's where we want the signal to come out. If we, where? Wait. We've got a secret archer somewhere with incredible aim. Wait, what? Hello? I have no idea where that just came from, but apparently... Oh no, did he fall and end up inside of our system? Which means he's underneath that carpet right there? There's a pretty good chance of that. But I guess that means he's gone regardless, so let's get back to work here. I think if I were to put a torch here, here, here... Okay, that powered that. Let's slow that down. Now I want it to be like a tick, so maybe if we power... All right, let's go ahead and pop these back off because those are solid. I think, let's get rid of that one more time. Let's slow down the signal a little bit. Am I missing a redstone torch? Okay, that's 3. Let's slow it down some more. How does that work? Okay, well, it didn't rotate, which is concerning. But I think that's because this pulse out here just dead end. So what if we redstone, redstone, and a block? Okay, wait. We've got power. It seems to be pulsing. It's pulsing actually quite nicely. So all that's happening here is the pulse is going around through these, into these torches, shutting off, turning them back on, and so on and so forth. Now, the real question is, can we turn this off and on? Well, apparently not, because there's 2 different sides that are activating this system. But I guess in order to stop this, we just need to make sure this pulse stays on. So what if we just negate this block altogether and stick that thing here and flick this lever? Okay, so everything is currently on. Now if I turn this off, okay, it stops that pulse and looks like it's functioning. So I need the trapdoor to be here. This will be the trapdoor, so it'll activate. Okay, so now we just need to replicate this down in a hole. So let's go ahead and just tear this all down. And hopefully we don't mess that up. Now, the only way we're gonna know whether or not this is built accurately is, well, the whole thing won't blow itself up, which is, it's a little concerning. But I guess that's how you learn. You learn by failing. Is it going? Okay. That's a really concerning noise. Uh-oh. Maybe it's a little too fast. Every once in a while it launches one, and I'm concerned if it falls here. Yep. We may die. Oh, it also blew up our... Okay, we gotta slow it down a tick. Let's get down there. Which one of these guys... Oh no, I don't have a way to turn this off. Which one of these guys slows this down? I think... Oh... Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Is it off? No! How's everything look? A bigger hole, but other than that, looking pretty good. Well, we lost our dirt support thing here. because it seems to just shoot out of control. So we need a more control system, which means we need to slow down the explosions just a little bit. The only way I can think to do this is maybe double this up, extend this out one more section. I don't know if it'll work the same, but I have hopes that it just might. Let's get rid of everything. Oh no. Okay, I guess I did do. Oh, yep, there it goes. There's a delay. I think it's time to activate this and pray that it does not blow up or kill us. Here we go. Okay, is this not close enough to destroy that log? Interesting. Back to the drawing board. This farm is really painful. But it seems to be kind of working. And I don't know if I'm upset about that or not. Okay, I think we're playing with chance just a little. Ow! Okay, I'm really not a fan of how much this thing hurts. I don't know where we need to stand. I felt like this was the appropriate place up against this block because I can't reach otherwise. Can I reach from here? No. Inch forward a little bit. And that's automatically pain. Okay, well, I guess I'm wondering now, where do I need to be to not take damage from this? This is not going well. I can't place this here. And if I go this much farther forward... Oh, wait. Hold on. I might have found the sweet spot. But then I can't place anything. So, another little inch. Okay. So I need the explosions to be farther away and me to be able to plant trees. So what if I move the trees one closer? Okay, I gotta turn this thing off real quick. Here comes the double. Oh boy. Oh, and there goes our blocks. So I am 100% convinced that the trees or the dirt block does need to go against this obsidian so it does not explode. Now it does seem like it's exploding regardless every single time the farm shuts off, so maybe we replace that with an obsidian later. But we need to figure out how to stand here and not take damage. I don't know if we can put... Ooh, what if we box ourselves in a little bit? I've got an idea. It's a crappy one, but let's go get some resources and see if we box ourselves in, if we can save ourselves some pain. All right, we got a couple changes incoming. We're gonna replace that with a piece of obsidian, and then I think if I can swim, come on. I think if we head on back up here, we close this off. I think if we maybe add a little brow is what I'm calling it. I think if we just put a couple blocks like that. Oh no. And now maybe this mitigates the damage. I think we can also, I mean, honestly, I think I can put a couple down the sides. Maybe this mitigates the damage. I don't know what's gonna happen. Let's go ahead and get our inventory ready one more time and see what happens when we activate it this time. Well, I'm not taking as much damage. But I'm also, that tree didn't blow up. Which is really interesting. This wasn't a problem before. Can I still do things if I put a block here? Definitely not. Oh boy, what's the solution? We've got to be closer to get to the trees. Ow. And now the TNT's not blowing this up. Did I change something? I don't think I did anything different here. What's going on? Oh, I know what I did. Hold on. Hold the phone. Turn it off. back in our box. I'm gonna go ahead and place this back on here like it's doing anything. Okay, one last try, we'll turn it on. If not, I think I'm just gonna have to get a good set of blast-proof armor so we can sit in here safely. Immediately hurts. I mean, we're not taking much damage. It's half a heart each time it goes off, but it sure is not fun. Whew. If I ever lose a piece of armor, oh, I lost my helmet. If I ever lose another piece of armor, this is definitely going to be the machine that brings me to an imminent demise. You know what, even though it's slowly killing us, I am happy with the way this thing's working. I've got actually plenty of wood, you know, just for those couple little bits we did. It's 3.5 stacks. So the thing is pretty efficient, but I just learned a new trick. It's F. That's awesome. But the only flip side is I'm taking damage and I lost my gold helmet. There's some kinks to iron out, but I think all in all, it's a pretty successful automatic farm. Before we wrap things up, I do want to check and see how our industrial furnace situation's going on in here. I'm going to assume that nothing's been smelted. Yeah, nothing's been smelted because it does not produce bamboo fast enough, which really, really stinks. I'm wondering if we take everything out of these, it should stack up on bamboo over time, and maybe we just wait for it to be full before we add any bamboo. I think that might be the solution. Now, the only problem is we added these hoppers on top, which unfortunately is going to feed it too much information here. Like, all this needs to come out. And hopefully I've got the inventory space for this. Okay. Because now I think if we can get rid of all the blocks inside each one of these furnaces, this thing should have the capacity. Let's empty all these guys in here real quick. It should have the capacity to go ahead and fill up all the furnaces. It just won't have time to smelt them. You can see it's already divoting up quite a few, but I'm actually curious if maybe it just goes too fast. Yeah, it's actually depositing bamboo in here faster than it's depositing in these furnaces. But I think the good news is we can actually just let this AFK. It'll slowly fill up. There'll be extras being produced in here. We can top these off if we need to, and then we just drop a stack of stuff in there and let it run. Now, I'm gonna have to probably AFK this thing for a long time before it's ready. My goodness, I look so much better without a helmet on. Why did I ever put a helmet on? Yeah, I think the thing is, we're gonna need AFK probably for many, many, many hours, but in the end it is going to be a super smelter in the sense that I didn't have to do any resourcing. No coal, no charcoal, no kelp, no dried kelp. I didn't do anything in order to get ourselves a fuel source. Now I know I can do the same thing with the lava and dripstone, but we don't have any dripstone, so as of right now that's not really obtainable. Now we've got a couple days left, just a couple before the 500th day, and man, we have gotten a ton done. Unfortunately, I do not think there's going to be enough time for us to go over and finish our villager trading hall. But I am happy with the progress that we made, and I do think that would be a great starter to the next 500 or our route to 1,000. I really think 1,000 should be relatively easy to do. I mean, we've survived 500 with little to nothing before all this diamond gear we've got. And so I think the last thing that we can do before bringing the close to the 500th episode, or the 500th day on the 10th episode, is go on a little tour back in time to see how far we've come with all of our builds, our terraining, and everything in between. So for those of you who have not been here for the entire story, let's do a little recap. Day 1, we found ourselves spawning on the hilltops of the Badlands across the river and made our way over into this little horseshoe-shaped pit that we decided would be our home. Now, as every Minecrafter does, on the first couple of days we spent, first couple of episodes that is, I think we spent a majority of our time in our little hole in the center of this horseshoe Badlands. Not long after that, we did finally set the foundations for what is now our lovely little abode, our little humble home, we like to call it, our little hovel, if you will. And this is one of my favorite builds I think I've ever created, just because of all the intricate detailing, the gradients, and everything in between. I love this build so much. And from there, we ventured forth to create what was supposed to be the fishing tower. Now, the fishing tower stayed pretty unfinished for quite some time. The fishing tower then quickly turned into a water mill for the crops, and that is where our next journey took us. We went ahead and created all of the crops in the lands you see here. Now, it did take a couple episodes to finish everything off, but it was time for us to venture out and set forth some food, some acquirable food, because at this time, we really had nothing. Not even a sheep, not a cow, not a pig, nor a chicken. It was just us and the crops. Speaking of livestock, our next step brought us to the lovely barn that Neo calls home, in addition to our cow farm to get a little more nutrient-enriched food. So we built this semi-automatic cow farm within the barn itself and left a couple guys down below to do any milking if we require it. And quite frankly, we've only got the barn 50% complete because we still have to design the automatic sheep farm so we can get plenty of wool for any of our colorful projects that we may have coming up in the near future. We also need to finish that pesky loft area where we can store some hay bales and some other neat little trinkets. Continuing on, the chicken coop and the water tower were two of my favorite builds, I think, and they're still up there. They're still top 5 for me. The chicken coop was definitely a necessity. The cow farm was great, don't get me wrong. It was good for the books, for the library, for the enchanting setup, but the need for automatic, completely automatic, hands-free farm of good value nutrition, a chicken farm was a necessity. Now, the chicken farm has been since supplying us with all of our food, so I could not be happier that we spent the time building the chicken farm, but it is one heck of a noisy contraption. Heading upwards, the water tower. I think this is top 3 for me. I love the aesthetic. I love the enriched detail to make it look weathered, old, and almost kind of mossy and out of commission. I mean, the water doesn't even flow all that great, so like that makes complete and total sense. The only thing we need to do now is decide what kind of farm should go inside of the water tower. Making our way back down towards the fishing tower, or what is now the mill, we have the attached fishing hut. Now, we haven't been fishing much since the day we created this, but I am really proud of how this little guy turned out. It's a cute little home that we can sit out on the dock on the nights that we want to just cast our worries away and reel in some good loot. Venturing forth, our buddy Neil hadn't gotten much attention, so we went out of our way to gather as much resource and a ton of iron for all the anvils to create Neil's little riding arena where we can come out here, give him some exercise, and practice our jumping and running skills. This thing turned out absolutely phenomenal, and this was my first attempt at some sort of gradient to get from a grass to stone so we could leave the stony cliffs around us, and I think that turned out quite nice. Using the andesite, the gravel, and the coarse dirt, we made a nice, easy transition from the grass to the stone surrounding the entire arena, and I really want to use this going forth on some other regions of the builds once we get to the point where we need to do that. And speaking of gradients, we also filled in this last little bit of land over here where we brought in a new gradient, or another attempt at another gradient, and the transition from grass to red sand, which is definitely a bizarre one. Using the coarse dirt and the orange terracotta, we made this nice simple transition, and I think that also turned out great. I'm really trying to lean into gradients and transitions and even more texture in the builds, hence the water tower, hence the aesthetic roof of the new industrial facility. This industrial facility roof is probably one of my favorite roofs, second to the villager marketplace that we haven't finished. I think it's really neat the way the deep slate transitions into the basalt tuff and then back into the crude cobblestones roofs that we're all familiar with in early Minecraft days. A couple of the last things we did are these elevated platforms, the pathway up around the pond, up to the Nether portal, and then across the rope bridge leading to the water tower that we've, like I've said before, need to decide what's going to be inside. And last but certainly not least, the giant villager marketplace. Now this, I think, is my favorite build of the entire series. I love the way the roof looks, I love the way these decayed pillars look, and I definitely love the aesthetic of the gradient walls from the birch to the oak. I think this is going to look really awesome when it's completely finished up and the details are done, but I cannot wait to get to this build, and I think it's going to be a great kickoff to the next chapter of our hardcore series when we go beyond 500. So as the sun sets and rises on another day in our world, I want to extend a heartfelt, you too, Leo. I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for joining me on this thrilling journey. Your support, encouragement, and camaraderie mean the world to me, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, share with your friends, and leave some kind words in the comments down below. Remember, the adventure doesn't end here. So until next time, stay crafty, stay courageous, and stay beautiful. Goodbye.